becoming more apparent that not only is he getting stronger, he's becoming more malicious. If his strength and ability continue to grow at this rate, we will no longer be able to contain him.
You idiot! You made me, remember?
Before I get started, I'd like to kindly ask that you hit the like button and please subscribe to the channel for more content just like this.
Come on. Do it. Do it!
So Malignant is the new horror film from director James Wan. I feel like I've sung the praises of James Wan many times on this channel, but I'm going to have to do it one more time. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say James Wan is one of the only modern horror directors that I can think of that consistently understands what people are looking for in the genre. This guy just gets it to me. And he's not afraid to be bold in the stories that he wants to tell. And in all honesty, Malignant might be his most bold film yet. Full disclosure, I went into this movie knowing absolutely nothing about it. I didn't even watch a trailer, and if you want my advice, you should go into it doing the exact same thing. Because I think it will enhance your experience the less you know. Based on the name Malignant alone, I thought to myself, okay, he's doing another Insidious type movie. Which I actually probably would have been down for as well. He's already proven his worth in the demon possession subgenre. But this movie actually goes in a completely different direction. In fact, I would go so far as to call it a batshit insane direction.
Now you want to get nuts? Come on! Let's get nuts.
I talked about this in my Saw review I did earlier this week, but James Wan has always been good at subtly blending different subgenres of horror together to create his own thing, and Malignant is another great example of that. This movie is supernatural, it has body horror, it's a slasher film, which I really wasn't expecting, and again it has elements of a police procedural. This movie feels like a throwback to a simpler time in horror. The idea presented in this movie could have very easily been a low-budget horror movie back in the 80s. But James Wan takes the idea and he kind of modernizes it, and he adds his distinctive touch to it, which actually makes it a lot more interesting than it should be.
I like it a lot.
To go along with the 80s vibe, the score is very much a throwback to that time period as well. All of this was very unexpected to me, and that's very rare in modern entertainment. He goes all in on the kills as well. I already mentioned the slasher movie vibes that this movie gives me. Well, the kills in this movie reflect that. They're very brutal and very gory, and not in a way that's going to turn people away.
That makes sense.
The basic story, without giving away too much, is that a woman is being paralyzed by fear of these visions that she's having. And she eventually realizes that these waking dreams are actually realities. From the opening moments of this movie, it feels like we're on our way to watching another Insidious or Conjuring type movie. But things do take a massive left-hand turn at some point in the movie, and it becomes very clear that this isn't going to be your average horror film. I mentioned in previous reviews how James Wan is really good at building suspense. And it's usually done through a combination of lighting and the way that he moves the camera and stages his shots. It's never just about the jump scares with James Wan. He values things like atmosphere, which make the film that much more effective.
Damn right, that's the only way I work, Cap.
If I had to point out one negative in this movie, it would probably be some of the acting and some of the dialogue. Some of the delivery of the lines just came off a little bit cheesy to me. Perhaps that was done on purpose to continue the low-budget 80s vibe without actually being low-budget. I will say this too, this is a very out there scenario when everything is finally revealed. So I could see mainstream audiences maybe not connecting with the story that he was trying to tell. Basically what I'm saying is that it's not going to be for everyone. But if you're a fan of old school Sam Raimi type horror movies, or even a little bit Clive Barker, then I think this movie might work for you. There's some very interesting twists and turns throughout this movie that you might not see coming.
You didn't see that coming.
I admired the fresh spin that they put on the idea of a kid having an imaginary friend. Again, I can't go into details because it will reveal too much.
You have the luxury of not knowing what I know.
I also have to point out that the villain of this movie, Gabriel, has the makings of being a cult classic type horror icon. Everything from his origin to his general design is just begging to be put on merchandise and turned into action figures. There was a couple of scenes that really stood out to me, and I'll go over them now. I really thought that the visual effects when the main character Madison goes into these visions was really well done. You actually see the environment change around her and it turns into another location, and I thought that was really cool. And the climax of this movie is insane. It actually gave me strong Terminator 1 vibes, another 80s classic. It helps that it takes place in a police station, but this is also the moment where action elements are actually added to this movie. So James Wan is really flexing his genre muscles here.
You son of a bitch.
Also, I won't spoil it, but the scene where they reveal Gabriel's origin is one of the more twisted and crazy things I remember seeing. Overall, I enjoyed Malignant, with a few writing and acting gripes aside. It's not a perfect film, but it's a unique horror film, the likes of which I didn't know people were allowed to make anymore. Or capable of making anymore, for that matter, especially in the mainstream. James Wan is an absolute national treasure when it comes to delivering horror movies that appeal to horror fans and don't try to be something that they're not. For that reason, I'm going to give Malignant the pleased Palpatine. Good. So have you seen Malignant? If you have, let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below. As always, please like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell for notifications, and I'll see you next time right here on Real Shift. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Y'all be cool. Nah.